Hi, this is Brandy and welcome to Fantastic Fiber Friday. I don't have a whole bunch to talk about this week, but I have been really busy, but most of it has been like getting ready for Christmas stuff. So, on that note, as you can see behind me, I added some lights to my background just for fun. I think I'll probably leave them up for about 2 weeks and then I'll take them down. And we have kind of a tradition here in the house where Dwayne collects firehouses, little electric firehouses. So we're going to have a whole village of firehouses at some point. We're well on our way. I think we have like 4 or 5 of them now. So every year he gets a new firehouse, and every year I get a new Santa because I like to collect Santas. And this is the new Santa this year. This is Nordic Santa. Wave hi. And Nordic Santa is just adorable. So he's standing down by our Christmas tree. So that was my new Santa for this year, because like I said, I collect the Santas, so he buys me a Santa every year. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the yarn that I had spun up earlier, I had taken pictures of. I actually really like this. It was my first try at making nubs, where you actually took 2 different bats and spun one normal and then just grabbed pieces off the other one and threw it in to make these big blurbs of color. And then I went and dyed some silk thread turquoise and applied it with that. I really like the way that came out. And of course these little bits here are where I tied it. So I don't know if I'm going to throw this in the store or if I'm going to sell it, but I also was thinking about, I have a lot of Angora, spinning up some Angora yarn to throw in the store. I hope you yarn people will love that. And I'm going to go on to my knitting, and there hasn't been a whole lot of knitting, and I forgot how long socks can take. So I realized that with my little sock experiment, I can tell you what I've realized thus far. So far it seems pretty much the metal needles do work better with this yarn, and this is just a superwash sock yarn. It's got superwash, merino, and nylon, like a regular sock yarn does. I found the bamboo needles to be a little wonky, and my stitches don't look quite so even. There's the bamboo. And what I'm trying to do is I want to do another inch or so on each one just to make sure the gauge is the same. And that's what I'll check out next time. I'll make sure the gauge is correct for each set, or for each sock rather. So there's the bamboo. Here is my collage needles. Let me try to get them untangled from each other. Oh, goodness gracious. They are tangled pretty good. Alright. Let me untangle this. And as I'm untangling, there we go, it's done. Cool. So this is with the collage needles, and the collage needles are the square needles. And every one of these needle sets is 2.75 millimeters. They're size 2s. So there's my collage needles. Leave that over. Get that other collage needle over there. And these are my Susan Bates. Just regular old. There we go. How did I do that? There we go. And what I did to alleviate my boredom of just stockinette stitch white is I actually did start putting a little color in and did some stripes. I'm gonna go as far as I think the heel on this, and then stop and move on to another one. Because the other thing is I honestly don't know if this is enough yarn to make me an angle sock. It's like, they're each like 22 grams. I just took a big skein of sock yarn and split it up. But I'm also planning on doing some Fair Isle with the color on the cuff. So this is how the regular Susan Bates knitting needles came out. And it's pretty even. There are some spots where it's kind of a little bit uneven, but overall it's pretty even. And the the stitches look fairly uniform. And I didn't mention with the collage needles, but with the collage needles my stitches do look slightly smaller. So we're going to see if this has any effect on the gauge. I really do need to knit a little bit more before I can test that, because I tried doing it on these little toes and you just can't get an accurate gauge with that. So, and another point I want to make too is that I did actually shove my toes in this one, so that might be why it looks wonky. I'm not sure. I won't know until I do a little more knitting on it with the bamboo needles. And now, last but definitely not least, I have the signatures. I like the way these feel. I like the fact that they are super pointy. I like the fact that whatever they're using to coat the needle right here it's almost like a satin finish. They're slippy, but not overly slippy, kind of like these can get if you have a super slippery yarn. I'm noticing, you know, it just slides nicely, where sometimes with this they might slide a little too much. I'm enjoying that about them. I did get the 4-inch because I have smaller hands, and 4-inch fits me just fine. And the super pointy tips are especially nice, because I noticed with the bamboo and sometimes with the Susan Bates, I was splitting the yarn every now and then. So that also affects how it looks. These stitches do look very uniform. They actually look, I can't tell if the gauge is bigger or not, but it looks a little bigger, a little looser. So we'll see how that comes out when I do a couple more inches and I can check the gauge. But that's my plan, to knit at least 2 more inches on every one of them and get the gauge, and then I may end up having to go to just 1 pair of socks instead of 2 pairs of socks, depending on if the gauge doesn't match up. It's probably not going to fit my foot right. But I put 64 stitches on each sock so that it would work out for the Fair Isle pattern I want to put in the cuff. And the gauge is fine, and it fits over my toes fine. So we'll see how that turns out. And the other thing that I have here, which I'm going to start today, last year I did some Insanity for Christmas, and I decided I wasn't going to do Insanity this year. I did 12 days of Christmas cookies. Absolute mayhem having to bake cookies for 12 days and a different cookie every day. So I chose a couple of my favorites from the 12 days of cookies last year. And I'll be showing pictures of them, and I also picked some from this year, because if you go to foodnetwork.com, they will actually send to your email the 12 days of cookies, and I had signed up for that, and I get it every year, and I love it. It's fun, and I pick my absolute favorites and my family's absolute favorites, and I maybe add a few new ones every year, but this year I'm only doing, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 cookies, because I'm missing one, I believe. But super gooey chocolate drops with cherries and all kinds of chocolate in it. Sounds really good. Some classic gingerbread, some biscotti, which is one of my favorites, and your classic chocolate chip cookies. So I will definitely be showing pictures of all that stuff as I'm making it. And I really don't have anything else for today. We will be doing behind the scenes. I'm trying to work out the logistics of it right now so that we can have a secret camera behind my camera, so we can film the hubs, and yeah, it'll be fun. But I'm working that out. I'm hoping to do it sometime in January. Don't tell him. And that is all we have for this week. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next Friday after Christmas. Happy Apocalypse Day. Bye.